So this PowerPoint presentation is going to cover the Leadership Summative Project that we have been assigned. I am Brianna Belmont, and this is my project. So at the bottom corner, this is an awesome quote that I think covers the majority of what this project is about. It says, "True leaders don't create followers, they create more leaders." So as we go through this PowerPoint, it's just going to show how true this quote actually is. All right, so let's get started. All right, so for our first one, we covered the personality plus. So after the survey is completed, because you go through the survey, you mark down all your points, you rate them on which you see yourself. So this will help to reveal how a person's unique blend of traits affect their emotions, their work performance, and relationships. It will help to improve their strengths and aid in their weaknesses. So it's going to highlight what they excel in and where they need improvements, basically. It is helpful to learn about all the personality profiles. That way you can learn how to understand and relate with others around you. So this is an awesome assignment, and it really helped to point out where you stand as a person and better understand yourself. So benefits of the Personality Plus. Each of the personality profiles lists strengths and weaknesses for each profile. So not only does this give you those listed, but then gives you solutions and tips for working with a person that falls under a specific profile. This tool can help people become leaders because it helps them understand one another and how to work well with others. So as a leader, you put your all into each situation by helping others succeed based on what their strengths and weaknesses are. So how does this Personality Plus relate to athletic training? Well, I'll tell you. So by knowing the strengths and weaknesses of your personality, as we learned, it will help you to work more smoothly with others in the workplace. In athletic training in particular, knowing where your strengths are and what others are on the staff can contribute, and what they can contribute can help in the rehabilitation process for our athletes. By saying that, an example would be coming up with different creative ways to keep an athlete engaged in the rehab. Another important aspect would be communication. So this would be with our athletes, our coaches, and other staff members. So by knowing how to deal with other types of personalities, it can help to getting your important points across to them, or creating a smooth work environment. So as you're going between the coaches and you're dealing with your athletes, by knowing how their personality works, you can kind of play off of their strengths, their weaknesses, and know how to properly approach them and talk to them about different situations. All right, so our next topic is Admiral McRaven's speech. This was an awesome speech. It was very powerful. So during Admiral McRaven's speech, he made valid points on how one person could change the world. The key to being a leader, in his sense, was by giving others hope. In Admiral McRaven's speech, he stated that the key to success was starting off your day with a little list task. So in his example, it was making your bed, because you are more likely to continue accomplishing tasks throughout the day, which I couldn't agree more. It already sets you up for a positive day. So building off of the Personality Plus, the personality profile, by knowing someone's strengths and weaknesses, you can actually be the person to help push them to their full potential, especially in the workplace. So how does Admiral McRaven's speech relate to athletic training? Well, Admiral McRaven had a very strong speech, and it can relate to almost all aspects of life. In regards to athletic training specifically, you have all of these athletes that are depending on you to get them back to their sport with no limitations. What I took away from this speech was by instilling hope within these athletes that we are going to get them back, is going to provide them with the will to push through the difficult time of being injured. So we play a crucial part in keeping our athletes with a positive mindset to get better. So our next topic is the extreme ownership tying into leadership. So this was the TED Talk video by Jocko Willink. So this correlated very well with the idea of leadership. So throughout the whole TED Talk, he explained about a time of war where there was a mess up and things went south. He explained how he made a list of what everyone's positions were and all the mistakes that were made. Where his leadership came through was how he took full responsibility for what happened that day because he was the officer in command. That right there shows leadership because not only did he take full responsibility for the mistakes that he made or that were made in general, but come up with ways to improve his team to not have a situation like that occur again. So to go off this and how it relates to athletic training, yes, mistakes are going to be made. Big ones, little ones, hopefully not too big to where you have a catastrophic event, but as it relates to a little incident, by taking ownership of what's going on and learning from it. So let's say you progress an athlete too early in their rehab and they responded badly to it. So now, what are you going to do? Like, you take ownership, you said, okay, I shouldn't have progressed him that early, all this stuff. So now what are you going to do to make yourself better and to help the athlete? So this is where you can figure out and talk with others amongst the staff, maybe a GA, your boss, and see what you can do to help with the rehab process for your athlete and how to progress him properly and how to heal him. Other things that could correlate to this is just taking ownership for your knowing your knowledge, basically. So where you stand as an athletic trainer and being open-minded to other people's opinions and being able to be helped by others and basically growing from that. So he had a very good speech, and it does correlate to life in general and how people need to take responsibility for what's going on and basically use that to grow. All right, so our tribal leadership. So this assignment helped in showing the progression of a person in the workplace. So the following are the stages. So stage 1 runs through, they run the show in criminal clusters, like gangs and prisons, where the theme is life stinks and people act out in despairingly hostile ways. So hopefully on your staff, you really don't have a stage 1. Stage 2 is the dominant culture in 25% of the workplace tribes. It says, in effect, my life stinks, and the mood is a cluster of apathetic victims. So you do see this, especially in stressful situations, and people get down on themselves and they kind of get into a rut. Then you have stage 3, which is dominant culture in half of the US workplace tribes. So the theme is, I'm great, or more fully, I'm great and you're not. So you see this a lot in the workplace, as it states half of the US. Stage 4 represents 22% of the tribe cultures where the theme is we're great and another group isn't. So this is the step in the growing process. Stage 5 is the culture of 2% of the workplace tribes where the theme is life is great and focuses on realizing potential by making history. So that is our ideal stage. So tribal leadership relevance in the workplace. So as we went over during the tribal leadership section, we learned that the majority of our young athletic trainers coming into the workplace at a tribe 3. They have a lot of confidence in themselves, as they should, from just accomplishing being newly certified. There is a big but in this type of thinking though. So yes, they should have confidence in themselves, but have room to learn and grow from others. So this is playing off that Jocko's speech as well. So as it was seen in the different sections, such as the personality profiles, the TED Talk with Jocko, and the speech by Admiral McRaven, instilling hope in others, taking responsibility for situations, and having an open mind to different things will help you to grow and move through the tribal stages. So how does learning to be uncomfortable relate to leadership? This is an idea that many may not see as a way of growth. Through the video by Bill Ekstrom, he stated that what makes you comfortable will ruin you. That statement is powerful because without putting yourself in a situation in which you are uncomfortable is the only way that will help you grow. So not only in leadership roles, but helping to inspire people could result in the growth that occurs when an uncomfortable situation arises. So it is the way that you as a person decide to deal with it, and that will dictate the outcome of a situation. So growth only occurs in a state of discomfort. So these are the different rings of growth. So stagnation. This will be a low performance and a low growth type of environment. This state should be seen as the life where they have to follow many steps and have to get permission for every move. In this, there is no room for creativity, independent thought, and help as that can help as a person to grow. Next is order. So this is the most desirable environment for the growth ring. This growth ring is knowing that your actions will lead to a predictable outcome. When people can predict outcomes, they become comfortable. But with comfort, will continue to do something in that same way, you will stop growing as a person. Complexity. This is our big one. So when you feel in life discomfort hitting, that means you have transitioned from into a complex environment. So complexity is nothing more than changed order. The main thing with this is when order is changed, the outcomes are no longer predictable. This is where decisions are made to grow. And then chaos. This is not an ideal state at all. So this is also a low growth, low performance. This can be caused by either internal or external events or conditions. And this state would be having zero predictability or control over inputs or outcomes. So discomfort playing into athletic training. So the best example that I can give for this would be from a learning perspective. So one of the ways a person can learn is by being thrown into the fire or being put on the spot from a knowledge standpoint. So this is an uncomfortable situation where you are forced to think on the spot, but this helps to think through situations, and even if what you answer is wrong, you grow from that moment and learn something. So the top picture with the phoenix, I believe, is a very strong and empowering picture. It's showing that you will rise from the fire. So even though you're thrown into the fire, you will rise from it. You will learn something and you'll take something away from it. So thank you for watching, and you are all leaders. So leaders, they're everywhere. Thank you. See you later.